Throughout history, the bonds of friendship have built empires, sparked revolutions, and inspired masterpieces.
But
What happens when those bonds shatter? When trust turns to treason and a friendly handshake becomes the grip of betrayal? Sometimes these personal fallings out don't just ruin a friendship. They echo through the ages, changing the very course of history. Today we're diving into the dramatic and often tragic stories of friendships that altered world events. From ancient Rome to the heart of the Cold War, these are the history of betrayals. Let us start with arguably the most famous betrayal of all time, Julius Caesar and Marcus Junius Brutus. Their story is more complex than just a simple backstabbing. Brutus wasn't just another senator. He was a close friend, and some historians even suggest Caesar saw him as a son. Caesar had pardoned Brutus after the civil war against Pompey, promoting him to high office. He trusted him implicitly. But Brutus was a staunch defender of the Roman Republic. He watched with growing alarm as Caesar accumulated power, declared himself dictator for life, and seemed poised to become a king, a title the Romans despised. For Brutus, it was a terrible choice: loyalty to his friend or loyalty to his country. He chose Rome. On the Ides of March in 44 BC, Brutus led a group of senators to assassinate Caesar. The legendary last words, "Et tu, Brute, and you, Brutus," whether historically accurate or not, perfectly capture the shock and heartbreak of this ultimate betrayal. The result? Instead of restoring the Republic, the assassination plunged Rome into another round of bloody civil wars, ultimately paving the way for Caesar's heir, Octavian, to become the first Roman emperor, Augustus. The Republic Brutus killed his friend to save was lost forever. Now, let's jump forward a few centuries to England and a clash between a king and his closest confidant. King Henry II and Thomas Becket were, by all accounts, the best of friends. They hunted together, drank together, and ruled together. Henry was the powerful king, and Becket was his loyal and incredibly capable chancellor. They were an unstoppable team. So, when the position of Archbishop of Canterbury, the highest religious office in England, became vacant, Henry had a brilliant idea. He would appoint his best friend Becket. He thought this would give him control over the church, a major power player at the time. But Henry miscalculated spectacularly. Once Becket became archbishop, he underwent a profound transformation. He took his new role with deadly seriousness, renouncing his luxurious lifestyle and championing the church's rights against the king's authority. The two former best friends became bitter rivals. Their conflict culminated in a moment of royal frustration. Henry, in a fit of rage, is said to have exclaimed, "Will no one rid me of this turbulent priest?" 4 of his knights took the king at his word. They rode to Canterbury Cathedral and murdered Becket at the altar. The backlash was immense. Becket was hailed as a martyr, canonized as a saint, and his shrine became the most important pilgrimage site in England. A humbled and horrified Henry II was forced to perform public penance, being whipped by monks at Becket's tomb. The power of the monarchy over the church was severely weakened for generations, a direct result of a friendship turned fatally sour. From kings and priests, we moved to revolutionaries. Imagine fighting side by side for a cause you believe in, only to have your brother-in-arms turn on you. This was the fate of Leon Trotsky at the hands of Joseph Stalin. In the early days of the Russian Revolution, Vladimir Lenin was the undisputed leader, but Trotsky and Stalin were his key lieutenants. Trotsky was the brilliant intellectual and military strategist who built the Red Army. Stalin was the cunning political operator, building his power base behind the scenes as general secretary. While they were never exactly best friends, they were comrades united in a common goal. But as Lenin's health failed, the rivalry between them exploded. After Lenin's death in 1924, Stalin masterfully outmaneuvered Trotsky. He used his control of the party apparatus to isolate his rival, look at his rival and eventually expel him from the Communist Party, and eventually expel him from the Soviet Union itself. Trotsky's betrayal wasn't a single act, but a slow, calculated campaign of political assassination. From exile, Trotsky continued to criticize Stalin's regime, becoming his most prominent and vocal opponent. But Stalin's reach was long. In 1940, a Stalinist agent named Ramon Mercador, who had cleverly infiltrated Trotsky's circle in Mexico, attacked him with an ice axe. Trotsky died the next day. This brutal end to their rivalry cemented Stalin's absolute power. It led to the Great Purge, the gulags, and a totalitarian regime that defined the Soviet Union for decades, shaping the entire geopolitical landscape of the 20th century. The ideological split between Stalinism and Trotskyism echoed in communist movements worldwide. Our final story takes us into the shadowy world of Cold War espionage, where the lines between friendship, ideology, and betrayal are dangerously blurred. Meet Kim Philby, a charming, well-educated, highly respected senior officer in Britain's Secret Intelligence Service, MI6. He was on track to one day lead the entire agency. He was also a committed communist and a Soviet spy from his days at Cambridge University in the 1930s. His closest friend within MI6 was a man named Nicholas Elliott. They came from the same privileged background, joined the service around the same time, and rose through the ranks together. They trusted each other with their lives and the nation's most sensitive secrets. For years, Philby passed those secrets directly to Moscow. He exposed countless British and American operations, leading to the deaths of hundreds of agents. He was the most damaging double agent in history. For a long time, suspicion fell on others, but eventually, the net began to close around Philby. In 1963, the evidence became undeniable. MI6 decided to send one person to confront him in Beirut, where he was stationed. Someone he trusted. They sent his best friend, Nicholas Elliott. Elliott laid out the evidence and offered Philby a deal, a full confession in exchange for immunity. Philby seemed to agree. It was one final act of deception. A few days later, he vanished, defecting to the Soviet Union. The betrayal was devastating on a personal and national level. For Elliott, it was the ultimate personal wound. For Britain and the West, it was a catastrophic intelligence failure that shattered trust among allies and forced a complete revaluation of their security services. The friendship between Philby and Elliott became a symbol of the deep paranoia and moral ambiguity of the Cold War. From the Roman Forum to the halls of MI6, these stories show us a chilling truth. The most devastating betrayals often come from those we hold closest. A friend's dagger, whether literal or metaphorical, cuts the deepest. These personal fallings out didn't just end friendships. They redirected the flow of empires, redefined the relationship between church and state, shaped totalitarian regimes, and sowed decades of distrust. They are a powerful reminder that sometimes the biggest turning points in history hinge on the smallest, most personal moments of broken trust. What other historical betrayals do you think changed the world? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey through history's darkest friendships, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more.